Welcome everybody to Motorcycle Time. I'm your host Joe, and today we are out on the wonderful KLR 650, and I would like to talk to you about Kawasaki and the problems they're having. So in this video, we're going to talk about Kawasaki and their problems. Here we go. So today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Kawasaki. Now, if you've been following the channel at all, you know that I'm at least a little bit of a fan of Kawasaki, right? And I'll be honest and say I'm actually a huge fan of Kawasaki. You could argue I'm a Kawasaki boy. Now, my first two road bikes were both Hondas, but that doesn't matter because I have two Kawasaki's now in addition to my two Hondas. Well, actually, it's not true. I got rid of one of my Hondas, so I only got one Honda now, one Yamaha. And I got two Kawasaki's, and I love them both. And I would happily own more Kawasaki's. Happily. Boy, I could go off on different Kawasaki bikes. I'd sure like to try. So the big deal is, right now, is there's a huge recall. Almost 18,000 bikes, 17,700 and something bikes are affected by this recall. And this recall is specifically on the 636cc engine. And that engine goes in the ZX6R and all of its variants. Now, up until this point, that has been known to be a very reliable engine in all of its variations, and there's been a few variations over the years of that particular engine, as well as the 599cc that came before it. But the 636cc has been around since, I don't know, 2005, 2002, something like that, 2005, and then they've updated it a couple of times, like I know in 2013 it got a big update, and they've added more power, and they've done different things, The point is that all the iterations of that motor have been pretty well bulletproof, very reliable. And this is the first time that they've had this level of a recall, where you're talking about tens of thousands of bikes, and to the point where they're issuing a do not ride order, which is actually the really big deal. That's actually the big deal. So if you bought yourself a ZX6 in 2024 or 2025, and maybe even a few of them in late 2023, right now your bike is sitting in a garage and you can't ride it. And you can't tell me that feels good, right? I don't know off the top of my head the price of a new ZX6. I probably should have looked that up. I'll put it on the screen right up here. Price of a new ZX6 in 24 or 25. But those are not cheap, right? Even though they're still a budget-friendly motorcycle choice, generally speaking, Kawasaki's are, but they're still not cheap. Oh, we're going to turn right here. Watch out, you turkeys. Ooh, let the fog out. Getting warm in there. Okay, and then also in 2025, another thing that Kawasaki has going, which is almost as painful as the 636 issue, is the KX450 issue. Both the R model and the X model bikes both have a crankshaft bearing problem. No, I'm sorry, crankshaft main gear. Excuse me. It's the main gear problem on the KX. And there is a recall currently for those. Now, I don't think that problem is quite as bad as the ZX6R problem is. That problem's pretty bad. Nearly 18,000 bikes. That's a large portion of the bikes that were sold. Now, from what I understand, that they're not actually all of the bikes are affected. Only about 1% of the bikes are actually affected, but they are not exactly sure how to determine which 1%. And as I understand it, it has to do with an over-tightening of a particular part. The part itself is not defective, it was installed incorrectly. And so because it is installed incorrectly, apparently the tolerances that it's installed at are not big enough to allow oil in properly. And so it does not lubricate the way that it should. So it could cause the engine to seize and the bike to stop suddenly while in motion, while being operated. And of course that is, bad for your health. And Kawasaki doesn't want to get sued, so they've got you parking your bike. And I'm glad they did. That's, you know, it sucks that that had to happen, but I'm glad that they have you park it, because it's better that than you know, get eaten up in an accident. I want to talk just a little bit about what Kawasaki's likely to do, and then what I think they should do. So what I think they're likely to do is they're going to do a mix of things. They're going to try to identify bikes that they can just replace or repair the part and not have to replace the entire engine. That's going to be what they're going to try to do, I think. Now, I'm not sure how successful they're going to be at that, because right now I haven't heard how they're parsing which engines have a problem and which ones don't. So as far as I can tell, from at least the information I've seen, they're looking at having to replace them all, whether they want to or not. Obviously, one of the options is that they could just stiff everybody, right? They could just say, screw it, we're not doing anything. I really doubt that's what's going to happen. Kawasaki has 30 plus years of reputation that they have to protect. What should they do, in my mind? The answer is they need to replace the part, or they need to replace the engine. It's wrong that you bought a bike and the bike is sitting in the garage. I'm sure Kawasaki knows this. I know they know this. I know that they're trying to figure out what to do, because I know that they're not happy that their bikes are sitting. 17,000 odd bikes. I'm sure they're not happy about the reputational damage. I'm sure they're not happy about any of that stuff. So I'm very confident that Kawasaki is actively looking for a solution that they think they can make work. And then they're going to announce what that solution is, and hopefully it's going to, at least for the most part, please everybody. We'll see. And good luck to them. I mean it. I wish them the best. I also want to be clear that every manufacturer takes a turn at this shit, right? Everybody does. Everybody takes a turn at the, oops, we have to do a recall. BMW's taking a turn at it. Ducati's taking a turn at it. Honda's taking a turn at it. So they've all taken their turn, and they'll continue to do that, by the way, just to be clear. Next year, the year after, in 5 years, someone's going to do it again. They're going to put something out, and then they're going to have to issue a recall because they effed up. I talked about what I think Kawasaki's going to do and what I think they ought to do. All of this bagging on Kawasaki is something I feel like I at least have to bring up, because I am a fan. I'm a fan of Kawasaki. I like their motorcycles. I've always liked their motorcycles. I had a Kawasaki dirt bike back in the day. That's where it got started when I was but a young man. Now I have 2 Kawasaki's in my stable, and I would absolutely consider more. I just generally like their motorcycles. But I feel like since I am a fan, it's appropriate that I bring up their problems. So, I guess let me finish with this. Historically, Kawasaki has been a very reliable brand. For 30 plus years more that I've been aware of Kawasaki motorcycles in my life, I've always thought of them as an extremely reliable brand. And they've always kind of had a special spot for me. I know that there's probably some Kawasaki haters out there who don't like their bikes or don't like the engines or various things, and that's fine. I'm not telling you you have to like them, because this is not that type of a video where I'm trying to sell you on the Kawasaki brand like it's the one. I'm just, because I myself am a fan, I feel obligated to at least talk about the parts where I think the company made a mistake, and this is one of those parts. I think they know they made a mistake. I think they're admitting they made a mistake, and I think they are looking to correct the mistake. And I'm hopeful that they will. And I'm hopeful that they can find a solution that doesn't cost too much money for them. And I'm hoping that they can make their customers happy. Because I would like that good Kawasaki reputation to continue. And I'll keep you guys posted on this. I'm sure that the news about what Kawasaki decides to do will be all over the place. This is going to be a big deal for a while until it gets sorted out. There could be weeks or months before Kawasaki announces anything. I really don't know. And, you know, honestly, how long it takes them before they announce something is part of the measure of how good of a job they do in handling this, right? If it takes them months and months to get after this, that's not really a very good job in handling it, is it? You know? All right, you guys, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this little talk about Kawasaki and their problems. I'm sure the company will sort it out. I know it's probably a mess right now, but it will get better, I have no doubt. They got a reputation to protect, and they're going to do that. So I'll let you guys know if I find out new information about this. And with that, this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you got this far, consider clicking like and subscribe. It really helps out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.